Hello Steelers fans! Are you ready for some significant updates from our favorite team? In this video, we're going to discuss some major changes the Steelers have recently made. And here's a spoiler, we're going to address an intriguing question: will the Steelers regret cutting Ahkello Witherspoon? Stay tuned to find out. Our first news of the day is about Larry Ogunjobi, the Steelers' defensive end, who highlighted what the team needs to do to avoid missing the playoffs again in 2023. Ogunjobi discussed the importance of the Steelers not putting their fate in the hands of other teams, especially after the frustration of the 2022 NFL regular season. Steelers' Larry Ogunjobi detailed what the Steelers need to do to avoid missing the playoffs again in 2023. Pittsburgh Steelers fans across the world shared the same stress and frustration going into Week 18 of the 2022 NFL regular season. In order for the Steelers to make the NFL playoffs, they needed to beat the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills to beat the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets to beat the Miami Dolphins. That's a lot to root for on one Sunday, especially with all three games beginning at the same time. Steelers defensive end Larry Ogunjobi was on the most recent episode of the Sick podcast, where he discussed the importance of the Steelers not putting their fate in the hands of any other teams. As mentioned before, Steelers fans were rooting for a lot in order to see their team play in the playoffs again. Unfortunately, that Sunday did not go the Steelers' way. The Bills were able to beat the Patriots, and the Steelers handled their business against the Browns. However, the Dolphins were able to kick a field goal late in the fourth quarter to earn the victory over the Jets and claim the last playoff spot in the AFC. The Steelers could have been in a great position to control their own destiny and make the playoffs, but the team lost one-possession games earlier in the season to the Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins. Ogunjobi touched on this during his interview. You never want to put your fate in somebody else's hands. Especially here. Being around the culture, that's definitely not what the Steelers want to do. The Steelers also did not control their own playoff destiny going into Week 18 of the 2021 NFL season, however it worked out for them that time even though it was such a long shot. The Steelers needed to win their game against their AFC North rival the Baltimore Ravens, the Jacksonville Jaguars, a 15-point underdog, to beat the Indianapolis Colts, and the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and Las Vegas Raiders to not end in a tie. The Steelers were able to pull out a win against the Ravens, and the Jaguars found a way to beat the Colts. However, it got scary for Steelers fans as the game was tied until the end of overtime when the Raiders were able to kick a game-winning field goal as time expired, which secured the Steelers' playoff spot. Ogunjobi discussed what it was like to start the 2022 NFL season in such a horrible way. The Steelers were 2-6, and the team's playoff chances were looking grimmer as each day went by. However, the team was able to go 7-2 in their last 9 games, putting them in position to have a shot at making the playoffs with a 9-8 record on the season. Ogunjobi talked about what that playoff push meant to the team. It's a testament to the guys about where we started from and how things looked to fight back and to finish the way that we did. And that's what you need to build that camaraderie and momentum and move in the right direction. These are promising words from the Steelers' defensive player, discussing the momentum that was built at the end of last season and going into the offseason. It shows that players on the team know they are trending in the right direction and will have a better chance this season to not have to worry about the outcome of other games come Week 18. Ogunjobi was battling injuries throughout the 2022 NFL season, yet he still managed to play in 16 games. He might not have had his most productive season, but there is no doubt he is looking forward to coming back a more improved and healthy player this season. Ogunjobi signed a 3-year extension with the Steelers back in March and has talked about the major changes he has made in his training for this season in order to make a larger impact on the Steelers' defense. With the building momentum and improvements that have been made to the Steelers prior to the start of the 2023 NFL season, fans can expect that the Steelers will not allow another team to control their playoff destiny at the end of the season. Now, moving on to another piece of news that's been stirring up quite a discussion. Will the Pittsburgh Steelers regret cutting Ahkello Witherspoon? Nobody should have been surprised by the Pittsburgh Steelers' decision to release cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon. This is something we predicted could have happened as early as the beginning of free agency in 2023. However, Witherspoon's release was inevitable after the Steelers doubled up on cornerback in the 2023 NFL Draft. After selecting Joey Porter Jr. with the 32nd overall pick this past April and finding great value in Purdue's Corey Trice Jr., it was only a matter of time before Witherspoon was out of a job in Pittsburgh. But the question isn't whether or not we thought Witherspoon would be released, but rather whether this move was the right decision. In the past, Witherspoon has been impressive at times for the Steelers. The veteran cornerback had a slow start to his tenure in Pittsburgh. After the Steelers traded for him in 2021, Witherspoon was inactive for 8 of the first 9 games. The only action he saw came against the Raiders, in which he allowed a massive touchdown reception to Henry Ruggs. However, by the second half of the season, Witherspoon was looking like a lockdown cornerback. Even with allowing the big touchdown reception early in the year, he finished 2021 by surrendering just a 35.1 passer rating to opposing quarterbacks in addition to nabbing 3 interceptions. Sadly, injuries got in the way in 2022. Last year, Witherspoon dressed and played in just 4 games. The results weren't friendly either, as he allowed 4 touchdown receptions. It was no doubt a combination of his inability to stay healthy and his subject play in 2022 that led to his release following the NFL Draft. Did the Steelers make the right decision? The short answer here is yes. The Pittsburgh Steelers were able to sign Patrick Peterson in free agency in addition to landing Porter and Trice in the NFL Draft. However, there was still a case to be made for keeping Witherspoon around. With a cap number of $4 million for the 2023 season, the money was manageable. Witherspoon had the same exact contract details as fellow cornerback Levi Wallace. Wallace was signed by the Steelers during the 2022 offseason, and he has been able to dress for 32 of 34 games over the past 2 years. Though Wallace can be a liability in coverage at times, his good health and ball production helped him keep his job over Witherspoon. Had the health of these 2 players been reversed, it's possible that Witherspoon could still be with the team. All of this is a moot point, however. Pittsburgh found what they were looking for at the cornerback position, which made Witherspoon expendable. Now the veteran cornerback has signed a contract with the Los Angeles Rams. Ahkello Witherspoon showed glimpses of a potential lockdown cornerback during his time with the Steelers, but at the end of the day, the sample of play was not consistent enough. With the investments Pittsburgh made at the cornerback position this offseason, it's safe to assume that the Steelers made the right choice by releasing Witherspoon. Well, there you have it. The latest news about the Steelers. What do you think? Will the Steelers regret cutting Witherspoon? Comment below and share your thoughts.